marching band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
It is Sunday night once again, and that means it's time for another live recording of the Auburn Experience podcast, episode 147. Heading your way, as always, catching you up on the latest Auburn news and Auburn potpourri and 2 major topics within the spaces of Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. Let's do all those things right now. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it, qualify it through a variety of methods, time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it might be, though, is if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing on episode 147 of the Auburn Experience podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle Loomis. Yes, we'll talk about it. I am back in studio, baby. And the other thing that's weird today, no, that is not Austin Scott with a facelift or whatever. I think it's an improvement, to be honest with you. Don't tell him I said that. I guess he can watch the replay of this. But most of you will know the face or recognize the voice, someone very familiar here at E2C Network and someone we're very fond of, Mr. AJ Richardson. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Woo-woo. Welcome to me. I'm glad to be back.
Yourself in, or
let's go. I'm usually the host saying welcome to whoever it is, right? On my podcast, the new one, Track Them Tigers, but formerly, the No Huddle. So done a lot of football stuff, and we're in the middle of football season, and I know we're going to be talking about that plus a lot more.
A lot more coming in this show today. So much to discuss. And here's we always like to pull the curtain back here, AJ. Yes, Austin is out. First of all, let me start there. He is having some family time this weekend. He had planned for this for weeks. It just is unfortunate that the week that I get back, or the day that I get back, we're not able to be together to celebrate me being gone. Maybe he was celebrating me being gone. I don't know. But anyway, Austin's out for the week. He should be back and good to go. But we're excited to have AJ here with us today. Let me also start by addressing what's been I can't talk necessarily right now what's been going on behind the scenes. That will be in due time. As I've been stressing to so many of you for probably about 2 weeks now, you've seen me in a variety of places. Usually a white wall behind me, not in studio. Yes, we are back in studio. For those of you that aren't watching the live stream portion of this, I don't know if things sound different, whatever, but we're back in studio, and I don't anticipate at this current time having any changes or anything like that happen for a while, hopefully. But we'll talk about all of those different things in time. But it's just nice, AJ, to be back here amongst all the orange and blue stuff that I have, and finally be able to look around some familiarity things here. It's just it's so nice. I just was sitting back here like just longingly stroking the books and stuff, and just once again, these are things I probably shouldn't say in a microphone because the visual part of it makes sense. The audio part of it doesn't make so much sense. But as I alluded to, AJ, I couldn't reveal where I was or anything like that, but I just kept hearing this loud clanga everywhere I went. And it was fine. We made do with it. It's just nice to be back in the confines of familiarity, even if it's not specifically Auburn stuff. But what's been going on with you, man? Like, I know you started Track Them Tigers Tigers, to get a little bit of a special flair on for your show. Like you said, it's you did No Huddle for us. That is gone right now, and we appreciate you and Jared and everybody else who's stepped up in those shoes for the longest time. But how's that going? How do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of this combination of a lot of things that I was hoping to do. And No Huddle had its own kind of format, doing a review and then a preview show, but wanted to kind of combine those into something that was just a all around, what are the news topics, and track them Tigers. We have a branding of, we want to track down the biggest storylines in Auburn football and talk through them. So that's been our focus with this kind of new launch, this new podcast that is on the E2C Network. And obviously, thanks Kyle for allowing me to put another podcast out there. And I think Kyle, I was thinking back on this. I think we have passed 10 years, maybe 11 years. We might be on that, of doing podcasts together, either on the same podcast or the same network, for sure.
I'm glad you brought that up. So we mark these things in milestones, right? So E2C Network, at least as it began as Ever to Conquer podcast, is over a decade old now. But, this concept or format of multiple shows and network began with Inside the Jungle, Clint Richardson and I breaking out and doing that together. And that, that show's been away for a little bit while, and we've had different co-hosts take over that as well. It kind of got serendipitous because it started because Bruce Pearl arrived, and then Bruce Pearl retired this year. And then when you think back to like bringing it to you, AJ, it was me, Ben, Tristan for the longest time. We kind of brought Clint into the fold somewhat, especially with doing Inside the Jungle. You, about the same time, I think, had started either filling in or stuff like that. And then before you know it, you kicked me out of your show. And
I didn't do that. What are you talking about?
I mean, listen, we all know how much people hear my voice in all of the different things. It was high time for me to take a step back from something and let people have their own show, and which has been really good. So I'm very happy that you still continue to either fill in here, do Track Them Tigers, and it looks like you're having. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, so his show is not so much a regular thing. It's when he has the time to, and he has the drive to, and wants to, and he really wants to discuss something. So obviously, some of those bigger games, and like you talked a little bit about Georgia, all those different things. So I appreciate you doing it, sir.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I mean, it's just whenever I have the time. I now have a 6-month-old, which is obviously a big change from last year. So this kind of is adjusting to fatherhood and all that good stuff. And now leading into this football season, I was just thinking my evenings are, less open.
Right.
But I will mention this, and I thought this was, I don't think I've talked about this yet, at least on any of my podcasts, but I want to at least bring it up. This was really fun. I got to bring my daughter for the first Auburn. Well, it was her first Auburn football game. Brought her to campus, did the whole Samford, took the pictures at the sign in front of Samford. We played South Alabama for the game she went to, but she stayed awake and stayed in the stadium, which is wild. She was like 5 months old, I think, at the time. So stayed awake for the whole time. And then she fell asleep a little bit in third quarter, but she was in the stadium.
Now, right?
That was wild. And then we went to Tumors, and she got to see the craziness of Tumors and all the toilet paper and all of the trees, and just experience all that. And she loved it. She had a blast.
AJ, I've said this before, and whether it's talking about children of your own or getting to experience Auburn for the first time again through someone else's eyes, and that's what makes you realize how much you love this place, is watching someone else discover. Now, your daughter obviously is so young, has no recollection of any of this, right? But will in time. But you're getting to vicariously live out those things again, discovering Tumors, those first games, all of those different things. And so whether it's you've converted a Bama fan friend, or someone from the British Isles come over and you get to, like I done with Dee Ford, and got to spend a lot of the day with her, or your own children, that's a really special thing. And I think that's part of what makes the Auburn family so special, and why we emphasize family so much. So way to bring the feels tonight, man. Love it. It's good stuff to start off the show. All right, let's take care of some business. Y'all know how this works. We got business in the Auburn potpourri segment. I will give a shout out to our good friend WT, who continues to want me to call it Auburn grab bag. But I'm still stuck on the Auburn potpourri name right now, and it probably will be for some time. So a little bit of a shout out to him tonight, because I know he is adamant that we change that. All right, Auburn potpourri. We're going to give you not every single news story out there, but some of the other ones that we won't have time to spend humongous time on. Let's talk about recruiting, AJ. Big recruiting news this week. Not really in the football space. Let's talk about basketball. We got the first ever commitment in the Stephen Pearl era. Now, some would probably say, if we were being correct, that all of these recruits, since he's been here, are part of the Stephen Pearl era, because he's just had just as much integral part of recruiting these kids that came under Bruce Pearl and now taking over as the head coach. But if you want to get technical, this is the first one. Wow, I try to choke up there about this. I'm so moved by it. Caleb Williams has decided to commit to the Auburn men's basketball team for 2026. A 6'7" guard, 195 pounds, from Tampa, Florida, and a big one for the Auburn Tigers to get rolling in this new era of Auburn basketball. You got to love it, AJ. Your first commitment is always that special one.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you had the initial keep the guys, right? Like that was the first big recruitment,
Great
right?
Point. Yep.
But fresh, recruitment from somebody. And I'm sure there was already pre-existing relationship with Bruce and Stephen Pearl and the coaching staff that had to happen with Caleb Williams. But as I was looking into him, anytime you get a 4-star in any sport, I feel like it's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking into him, 128th overall in the 247 composite ratings, which, just outside that 100 rating. But that honestly doesn't matter. I don't care necessarily about where they stack up. It's how they mesh with the team and play. And this guy seems like he's going to dish the ball around as a guard should. So looking forward to him being on next year's 2026 team.
And obviously this is the first commitment, so we'll start building what the story and narrative and successes or failures of the Stephen Pearl era of head coaching recruiting is. But remember, as we started off saying, this is something he has been heavily involved in, if not sometimes ultimately responsible for, as the associate head coach too, with those type of titles and roles that you're given with those titles. So you could already kind of evaluate him. I loved what you pointed out about the recruitment has already started with trying to keep the team together and did that and then some, and the coaching staff together. Let's add that in too. Let's just add this in here. So whether it's about stars, whether it's about where he falls in some ranking system that's arbitrarily made or stuff like that, there's no reason to think that this isn't a quality individual that Auburn is going to find a way to utilize very soon, as they like to try to do, even with the younger guys. So the very first one is always special for Stephen Pearl and the coaching staff as they enter the new era of Auburn basketball. A little bit of extra recruiting news this week that is hitting right close to the Auburn family heart. Big week for baseball, by the way. We'll get to that in a little bit. But here's the news for baseball recruiting. And maybe this was like just one of those things that was going to happen and we didn't know about, but it doesn't make it any less special. The Big Hurt is coming back to play Auburn baseball. Now, hold on. It's the Big Hurt the third. Or I wanted to call him Big Hurt 2.0 because he is the son of Frankie Thomas the third, but he's the third, so you can't call him the Big Hurt 2.0 when he's the third. So we got a lot of mathing going on here that doesn't math out. This is really cool, AJ. I mean, how often we get to talk about an Auburn legacy like that come back to play with their dad did, or our parent, anybody did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited about. Oh, we're breaking up.
Go ahead. You go ahead. You ahead and give your thoughts. You broke up a little bit. We're good now.
Yeah. I was looking into him because obviously the Big Hurt, he's already got a statue outside of Plainsman Park, guy that's legendary for Auburn. And to have his son come to Auburn, I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of feels like the Bo Nix story. His dad, quarterback at Auburn, Bo Nix comes to Auburn, same kind of excitement around that. I think he's a 2027. Is that?
That sounds correct. So, yeah, because they'll be playing the 2026 season. So the next one will be, to your point, when you see the years put with the baseball recruits, you always have to remember, like, it's kind of feels 2 years in advance a lot of the times of that current class. But go ahead. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's coming out of Florida and IMG Academy. So solid. Yeah. So
everybody comes out of IMG.
It kind of feels like it, dude. But very excited for him. We'll see how he comes out. So here's some crazy stats. Again, these are high school stats. He put on his Twitter account, so take it for what it's worth. But Frank Thomas III, his hitting average is .544. His batting average is above 50 or 500.
That's pretty awesome.
Again, high school, so take it for what it's worth. But 43 home runs, or 43 hits, 5 home runs, like pretty phenomenal, like, all around good, sounding like at least at the plate.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting just to have the name back. And obviously, Frank's been no stranger to being back at Plainsman Park with the statue unveiling. He was there for the last 2 home weekends ago. So he's always been back, but it's just awesome when you get to see, just like we talked about with your family, letting your kid experience Auburn for the first time. And certainly Frankie's been indoctrinated into that for his dad, but Big Hurt 2.0, Frankie the Third, whatever you want to, Frank Thomas the Third, whatever you want to call him. He is here, and that's
is he the Little Hurt?
Well, I think you're stealing from WT there, so I'm going to give him the credit.
Okay.
But
I just see that now.
Oh, you didn't see it, so you both came up with it. So I guess we got the credit to both of you now. Nice, but the Little Hurt, whatever you want to call it, congrats to Frankie. Welcome officially to the Auburn baseball family, even though technically you've always been a part of it. We've got a little bit of soccer news we want to hit, especially when big moments like this come up in the season. We often don't get to time to break down every single game or every single weekend, especially with as busy as I've been. But this upcoming weekend, and which is why we're talking about it today, because it'll start on Sunday next week, and we don't do these till Sunday evening. So what we got coming up, SEC soccer tournament time in Pensacola, Florida. Did you know, AJ, that this used to be held in Gulf Shores, or technically Orange Beach, Alabama, for the longest time?
Did not.
Yeah, so that was, we bring that up because that's a beach that all of us are very familiar with, especially if you're from the South, if you're from Alabama. It's pretty much where you go to for the beach. But they've lately been switching it over to Pensacola, Florida. Your dates for the tournament, November 2nd through November 9th. So that will be that next Sunday through the next week. Auburn is currently slated to play as the number 12 seed in the tournament, which unfortunately would put them as I'm looking at it, the lowest seed in the tournament. This is the first year for brand new head coach, James Armstrong. They'll be taking on number 5 LSU, 8 Eastern time. You can watch it on SEC Network. It looks like that'll be the 4th match of the day. So the last one, again, 8 p.m. Eastern time on that Sunday night. So set your schedules. In fact, it's good that we're talking about this right now, because we'll literally be like in the middle of the show as they're wrapping up. Austin, I'll probably be like watching it on the screen over here too in the show next week, things like that. But there's just so you guys have a little bit of information about it. Auburn versus LSU, the 4 major seeds that get a bye in it are Arkansas as number 1, Vanderbilt number 2, Georgia number 3, Tennessee 4. And Auburn's path, let me see what you think about this, AJ. And I know you're going to apply other sports to this, but Auburn's got to go through LSU, then Tennessee. Then it would have to take on the winner of, that side of the bracket, which it would probably, if we go chalk, number 1 LSU. And then you got to take over who the winner on the other side is, which might be number 2 or number 3, Vanderbilt or Georgia right there. So just think about those names, AJ, and what you feel about some of those teams. You got to go through LSU, Tennessee, and then you probably got to go through Georgia at the end of that if you make a run here in the SEC tournament as the number 12 seeds. It's a tough path.
It is definitely a tough path. And it feels like, especially, it's not always, right? Like the big sports, football, basketball, it's not always like, think Georgia is always really good at football. Doesn't always mean they're always good at soccer or whatever other sport, but they have money. They're going to probably throw it at some of their athletes. And, that's why you're seeing a lot of these top names still kind of sit up there, especially in the NIL era. Even in soccer, like you're still going to get that for especially the top of the top that, if you have a good striker, say in soccer, that, multiple teams are going after, you're going to have to throw a little bit of money at them to get them to come to your school.
Yeah, and obviously it is disappointing that the Tigers are only able to get the number 12 seed in this tournament, but it's first year under James Armstrong. For those of you that know, he came from Mississippi State. They are only the number 8 seed in this, so right there in the middle of the pack for them. So it's not like he left somewhere, and they also had a little bit of struggles losing him. So give him some time. They'll eventually be moving up in the ranks. James has been here before as an associate head coach and assistant coach, and it'll hopefully be one of those days we'll be seeing Auburn as the number 1 seed in the tournament. But pay attention. at the end of next weekend for it to start. As our final bit of potpourri news, I feel it's appropriate. AJ brought this up in our show prep. I think it was important. Now, let me look right here in the camera. All you Oklahoma fans, we actually have some good Oklahoma fans that like to tune in here and that are good-natured. Other troll fans from other fan bases, we are talking about the refs or the ref in this one because it is related to Auburn in a significant way. But I feel that our audience would be disappointed if we didn't at least address it a little bit. Ken Williamson, a longtime referee for the SEC, has officially, and I think the terminology is, AJ, permanently suspended. I don't know why you wouldn't just say fired, or I mean, permanently suspended means you're fired, right? Like, is that?
Yeah, usually that's what it means. Or you're under some like formal review process for something or another, and they consider you not part of whatever organization you're part of. So yeah, it's essentially fired.
So let's just call it fired. And this is largely due to the blown call and calls situation of Auburn, Georgia. The fumble that, and as I've said with this, it should have been a touchdown either way. It was definitely a touchdown for Auburn, but even if it wasn't, the ball was never down and picked up by Georgia and run back for a touchdown. So they got it wrong either way. I'm honestly fine either way, but call it correct, man.
Right.
Like, I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah. I also want to ask this, AJ. I've seen rumors out there, and I'm not a big pot stirrer. Maybe you know where I'm going with this. Some big news came out this week in the sports world. And I listened to my friend on this, and I think you think any of this might be related to the whole gambling ring that was going on in sports that they found in certain other sports.
I mean, I feel like it's probably a reach, but it
is a reach.
There might be some correlation to that.
Timing's interesting. You got to admit that.
Yes, that news came out very close to the news of the SEC ref.
Almost preemptively.
Yeah, almost as a I mean, if you are the SEC officiating crew and there's probably some if there is some sort of formal, I don't know, whatever investigation going on, you're gonna know about it on one of your refs. And not to mention, there was already 11 formal complaints against Ken Williamson, and apparently 9 of those had substantive proof that he was, he called plays the incorrect thing or whatever. It does not have a good look, especially when refs are supposed to be unbiased and just call it as you see it. And there seems to be a leaning towards certain calls, and in Auburn's case, it went against us in a couple really crucial games in Oklahoma and Georgia that, and I know Ken Williamson wasn't associated with the Oklahoma one, but he was associated to a couple really bad ones, especially the clapping situation. We talked about that.
I just thought that's how we clapped. I don't know.
Apparently they've changed sign language to clapping like that or something. I don't know.
Anyway, but Ken Williamson is let's just call it fired, and I guess it helps. I don't know. To me, my opinion is I was struggling to get excited about it because I feel bad. If someone truly was doing that horrible at that job that they needed to be let go, I'm not going to necessarily celebrate it, but I'm also like, okay, like it doesn't change the outcome of the game, things like that.
It's a little justifiable in the Auburn fan perspective. Again, put your orange and blue sunglasses on. You see, those calls going against you, and it seems a lot of times kind of harshly against you. And then you kind of put it in perspective of, other teams were getting screwed by this guy apparently. So then Auburn's kind of looking at this as, well, legitimately, if a few calls don't go our way or go our way against, say, Georgia, we might win that game. Obviously, we didn't, and I think there was, the game would have played out, its own way. Who knows who would have won if they had given us the touchdown, if the timeout had actually been called. Like, who knows, right? So you can't blame the refs.
Sure,
you got to still play hard, and you got to be resilient in all those situations. The refs are going to ref and they're going to mess up, and they're also going to get things mostly right. That's why the best of the best refs stay good refs. But if you're, kind of consistently not getting that correct, I mean, that's why it sounds like this guy at least got canned. So,
or maybe they say the best of the best because they're paid up by the best. Sorry, I'm just trying to stir the pot now at this point. Look, the reality is the man's fired. It seems that there was justification for that. Auburn got the brunt end of that. So does several others. The reality is when it comes to refs and their effect on the game, you should never be in a position for the refs to alter your course of your game. You should be able to control everything. You should be able to put yourself not precarious situations. But the reality is wrong was done.
Yep.
There has been justice in some sense for that. I hope it was what you wanted, Auburn fans. But right, for me, it's just kind of like it was a blah story this week. I just wanted to cover it for everybody else that needed it too. So that's Auburn Potpourri. Catching up on some things there that we've had going on this week. Let's dive into our main topics. And certainly during football season, we usually spend time diving into the latest game. And I am pleased, AJ, that you are here for the first win in 4 games for Auburn football. Auburn versus Missouri. No, I see. I wish that one felt like we should have won. Auburn versus Arkansas. The win was so lovely. The way I just want to be honest. I'm very proud of the team. Yeah. And I know some of you will have a hard time stomaching me say that because you can't get your heads out of your own butts. To just be happy about something for once in your life. And I've seen your comments. But I really appreciate resiliency. I'm a big fan of the belief system that it's not your mistakes that define you. It's how you respond to your mistakes. And, ultimately that can be even the best story out there about you. And Auburn went down, 10-21? Wasn't that the score at one point?
Yes. Yep.
3 scores essentially. And that's bad math right there. Oh yeah, that's 3 scores.
2 scores.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, the way Auburn was playing, it felt like 3 scores because we kept getting field goals this game.
That's well said. That's well said. Bounce back, and I would love to have been in there for that locker room speech. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think it would have probably been a fiery one, but it's just probably one of those moments where, guys, your season's right here hanging in the balance, and you can write the narrative from this point. And so obviously changes were made at quarterback. We can dive into all those different things. And certainly I think those were probably the correct decisions. But here we are, first SEC win of the season, snapping the 4-game losing skid. You beat somebody that you're supposed to on the road, which is always challenging no matter who they are, especially in the SEC. That's just my opening thoughts about that. And we do want to do grades, but just anything else stick out to you that you want to first spend some time on before we do grades?
Yeah. So a few things.
Go ahead.
When Auburn went 10-0, I was thinking, well, we've seen this story. We go up.
Yep.
And then and Arkansas scores 21 straight points. And I was like, we've also seen that story play out this year. And Auburn has not overcome that deficit. And guess what? Fourth quarter Auburn came to play and caused multiple interceptions fourth quarter. And I think you get over this, and sometimes it's just literally a mental hurdle of we're going to give effort in the fourth quarter and win this game. And, I'm sure there's lots of factors kind of playing into that. Defense obviously led the way in that. But to me, that was the biggest story of actually overcoming, starting off well, not doing well kind of for a while, and then playing great to finish the game and give yourself a solid win over a not so great Arkansas team, but it does not matter. It's still still an SEC team. Mm-hmm. And, a win is a win. I'm going to celebrate it every single day because we deserve it. These players deserve it. And if you saw any of the videos after the game, the players were so hyped. Hugh was just elated. I mean, it was just all around excitement. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Lot to like there. Also a lot to maybe break down and discuss some frustrations that started arising again. But once we talked about your response to those issues, those frustrations, and responses were made, and they were the correct responses in personnel changes, in what we were doing, and to be successful enough to win. Now, certainly, you want to get a few more touchdowns, but anyway, let me give you a few things to get us started in grades, and I'll just give you the floor to go ahead and do quick thoughts on offense and a grade, quick thoughts on defense. You can go the whole gamut all the way to special teams if you'd like, and I'll finish up for you. Offense, I think the names you talk about: Ashton Daniels, Jeremiah Cobb. Defense, I think it's Xavier Atkins and then Rayshon Pleasant because of his double interceptions, and he's not the only one, right? But that's just the two biggest ones. And then you have this behemoth of a man in one Alex McPherson. And when I say behemoth figuratively, because he's a short guy, even shorter than AJ, and that's saying something, my friend. I've seen AJ and I've seen Alex McPherson. And I'm not even talking about with all the issues that he's had going on this year. And well, for longer than that, I mean, he's a trooper there regardless. Yeah. But he's a behemoth of a man after what he had to go through last week and into this week. And probably can just give him the game ball of just every moment of that game because we needed him to. All right. Wherever you want to go with that, offense, defense, special teams, grades, what do we got?
Yeah. So I'll kind of give you, let's start with offense. I'd say B-. And the reason I'm saying B-, yes, it was better than a lot of games. I think we almost put up 400 yards, but we didn't push it in the end zone enough. I mean, 6 of those drives ended in field goals. And thank goodness Alex McPherson came out and did what some people thought had already written him off for last week, where he missed 3 field goals. This time he nailed all 6 field goals.
6.
And helped us win this game.
Yep.
So I think the biggest moment was right before half. Jackson Arnold throwing the interception, and then the switch to Ashton Daniels, which he was asked about that, and we can talk about it later. But the plan was to play Ashton Daniels like at the 3rd possession, and they decided to hold off on that because at the time Jackson was doing well.
Yep.
And that was true. But I think Ashton Daniels was exactly what this team needed for consistency of what the offense needed to be for this game, which was hand the ball off and throw it very minimally because it was a rainy, slick kind of game. So I think the offense did exactly what it wanted. One other kind of fun thing, and I love this, I posted this. I'm also the live tweeter on the E2C X account. So the Woody play, man, the hidden guy behind the line of scrimmage, freaking love that play. One of my favorite plays from the Gus Malzahn era, and Hugh pulled it out against Arkansas, and it worked super well. Singleton was hiding behind the line, ran the ball, got, I think it was like 15, 20 yards. Love it. It worked exactly how I was hoping.
And if you look, they even pinpoint him out on defense, and they still there was 2 guys hiding, and so that's how you make that work. Is you don't know which one it's going to go to.
Exactly.
So maybe a little bit of a homage to his good buddy Gus Malzahn. Because how much he loved to just whoop up on Arkansas. Now there was no whooping that happened in Arkansas, but still, that was kind of fun. What's your grade for offense?
Offense, I'll give B-. And then for defense, do you want me to go on defense?
Yeah, just quick thoughts again. However you want to go. I'll chime in when I
can. So defense, I'd give them honestly either A or A+, kind of in that range. The sole reason, yes, they did give up, a handful of touchdowns, but have y'all seen Arkansas's offense? We held them well under their scoring average, and not to mention they showed up and continued to play really hard, like I mentioned, and specifically with the turnovers at the end of the game. Xavier Atkins, oh my goodness, the dude felt like he was everywhere, and he had a forced fumble, had 2 sacks, had 4 tackles for loss, 13 total tackles. He has now 7 tackles this year. I mean, if the ball was headed in a direction, guess where Xavier Atkins was? He was probably part of that.
You mean 7 sacks? I heard tackles. Was it 7 sacks?
7 sacks this year.
This year, okay. Go ahead.
Yep. So huge there, and then obviously you mentioned it, Rayshon Pleasant. I mean, a couple interceptions there. One, he just kind of sat back in zone and scooped up, and he picked up the quarterback's eyes and said, "I'm gonna intercept this and take it back for a pick 6." And that was such a huge point because Auburn was down. And that touchdown gave us the lead. And then guess what? Right after that, made the 2-point conversion, gave us I think a 3-point lead. So it's exactly what you needed. And guess what? The defense gave the spark again, which
Yep.
again is a big theme this year. Defense gave the spark to the offense, and thankfully, offense decided we're going to do something with it.
Yep. What you got up for a grade on defense if you had to pinpoint this?
I'll say
good.
A plus. I'll say
I was going to say,
Yeah.
it sounds like you want to say A plus.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's pretty biased that we could go pretty high for special teams.
Yeah.
Let me ask it this way for the sake of time. Is there anything wrong with special teams? Is there a problem that you had with special teams? Because that may help you make your grade.
There was almost something. I think it was the opening kickoff, almost went out of bounds. It hit the pylon, but it didn't. Or it hit the pylon, so therefore it went through the end zone. That was close. That would have been a big mistake. Kick it out of bounds on your opening kickoff. Like, don't do that. But thankfully, it hit the pylon, and so that's the only potential negative. I think everything out. Well, now I think about it, Hudson, I think, had one punt that was kind of short, like a 30, 35-yarder.
Short one. So if you've got those two issues, and then we've got the behemoth of a man, Alec McPherson.
Yeah.
What's your grade considering those two things?
Probably like a solid A.
Solid A. I'll match. Here's what I'll go on my grades to just finalize here with you. You said B- on offense?
Correct. Yeah.
I will say probably a C+. You cannot stall out. I think they got the points, right? And that's we'll talk about these special teams grade in a second. But you got down the field, you just couldn't finish the job.
Yeah.
As much as you needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have some touchdowns. I think just one of those is a touchdown. This is a much different game.
Yeah.
And probably finishes a much different way, in a much more calm way, the way Auburn was able to move down the field. So I'll say C+ for the offense. And like we've already talked about the main point. For the defense, it's an A+. I mean, you got 3 interceptions. You held Taylor. All I heard, for nothing else, I continue to hear from fans from other teams each week, X player is going to do just dirty things to you, whether it was Ahmad Hardy, whether now it's Taylor Green. And Taylor Green didn't have a bad day, but
he didn't run the ball
exactly
like people were thinking he was.
And so, even with that, all these star players, I'm told every week, are going to do something to Auburn's defense, and Auburn's defense does something to them. So whatever it is, it's an A+. And then special teams, I think I'm still going to go A+, because those two things are minor. They didn't really become a factor in the game that you talked about. After what Alex McPherson went through, him alone, just this season, his health, that last game, that was like his reverse John Vaughn game. I'm sorry, John Vaughn, for throwing you under the bus for that. That's what did happen. So I think A+ for me for special teams.
Yeah.
So
one other quick thing, since we're on Alex McPherson, I saw something that came out about him going to Hugh Freeze on Monday of last week, saying, "Hey, I know I lost this game, and probably just in a feels the worst things. I mean, imagine a kicker who missed 3 field goals. We barely lost last week. Rightly so. He's thinking this game was on me." And he comes out, makes 6 of 6, and he took the accountability for it, changed his ways, changed his mentality, whatever it was that changed in him to give him the confidence to even this week almost make a 50-yarder for a guy who has no colon in him, and he said gone through major surgery, still recovering.
What a comment right there! I just realized. But go ahead.
But it's just a wild story and I love that. That he was able to come back from that.
Absolutely. Stories abound in this game, and it was a great one to witness, as frustrating at times, but the Tigers get the job done and are victorious in Fayetteville again to the Razorbacks. Still the weirdest cheer in the world. Woo pigs. Woo. I just don't know how y'all do that with a straight face. All right. There's the game for you. Auburn wins. Real quick, though, for the next game coming up, I always do my preview and prediction show on Thursday nights. Don't think we'll be missing that this week, folks. I think everything's back to normal now for the most part. So I like to give Austin / you, AJ, a chance to just give some quick thoughts about what you think about Auburn, Kentucky, even this early in the week. And it is Sunday night well before the game. I don't know if you've thought about a score, but maybe if you don't want to do a score, just a prediction of sorts about how do you think the game is going to go based on what you are currently looking at. Auburn versus Kentucky, last night game for Auburn this year in Jordan-Hare.
Yeah. So I was looking at, I watched the Kentucky game, and I've kind of seen their lackluster performances. If you think Auburn's in a bad spot, football, Kentucky's even worse. So there's also this, Kentucky's a basketball school, and I legitimately think their fans don't really care that much about football. Like my parents went to Lexington when they were in Lexington, and they were just saying people just didn't really care about football.
Didn't seem that way.
Yeah. So I think that a team has to feed off of that. Then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where Auburn, we were 3-4 headed into this game against Arkansas, and yet our fans are still buying into, even if they don't want to maybe the head coach or whatever that is, right? Sure. They're still watching the game and hoping something good happens out of this, maybe. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this game goes. I think it will be something like let's see. I feel like Ashton Daniels probably is going to get the nod at starting quarterback. We'll see. I'm sure that'll be evaluated. Maybe they do. I hope they don't do a two quarterback system, but it could be that way.
I'm glad you said that. Can I add something there?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be probably in the minority here majorly. I'm okay with it.
I know you are. You tried that with our flag football team. No, you did.
I did. I tried to do that in a flag football system, and it worked. I'm just saying for this, I'm okay at home if you want to continue to let Jackson still try to figure this thing out, because we're not guaranteed for Ashton Daniels to be here next year if we have to continue to use him. There's got to be some tricky things that happen just with some eligibility here and who plays when the rest of the season. So I'm fine if you just let Jackson go out there and try to figure himself out. And if he can't do that, throw Ashton back out there and let him be, I hate this term, but it is true, a game manager again. So sorry, I just wanted to insert that real quick. But anything else you'd like to predict or in any way about Kentucky? I'm assuming no score.
I noticed Zach Calzada, former Auburn backup. I don't think he ever played even a snap at Auburn, but he got benched at Kentucky. Yeah. So I was kind of hoping that there would be this storyline reunion, but I don't think it's going to turn out to be that way. They've got what's his name? I think Cutter Boley is their quarterback name.
I'll be honest with you, I have no clue at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine, but he's not going to wow you. I don't think, especially with Auburn's defense. So, take it for what it's worth. I do think Auburn wins, maybe something in the range of a 35-24 type game.
Okay.
Auburn wins.
I hope you're correct. And I think this is a good time for Auburn to really kind of let loose and have some fun on offense. And I hope they can do that against that team that they should be heavily favored to beat.
It's a night game in Jordan-Hare, and I think that still is an electric environment.
It's going to be fun.
I mean, really, you only have a couple more games left at home. So
do
this. Do that. Well, I guess if you consider Mercer, but, legit, games that matter. Two real home games left. Enjoy
it while you got it, folks. Because like I said, this may be your last night game of the season. For usually the Iron Bowl is a midday game, and I don't see that changing much this year. But Auburn versus Kentucky, we'll wait and see how it goes. Thanks for sharing your preview on it, AJ. Let's continue to talk about our main topics this evening. Our final one. We're going to give you a little baseball flavor. We previewed it a little bit in potpourri, talking about the Big Hurt 2.0 / the third coming. That was a great start to the week. But for me personally, just with everything that I've had going on, I forgot about Savannah Bananas until we got closer to the weekend. Yeah, if you didn't hear, the Savannah Bananas came to Plainsman Park to play Auburn in fall ball. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like this isn't the first time. This is the first time they've done that for a college team, anything like that. I think they're going to Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. And they just did Clemson.
Yeah. So they're making a tour around. So we're not going to act like we got the corner market on this, but in terms of awesome people, awesome venue, I'm going to say you have the corner market on it. This is really cool. If you don't know what the Savannah Bananas are, they have a fun take on the game of baseball. Go look them up. I don't know how you don't know who they are. And it's a semi-pro league. And there was at one point an opportunity for one of the former Auburn Tigers to make the team, the All-Star Savannah Bananas, that were coming to Auburn. I don't know if he did or not. I'm sure they would have made a big deal about it. Maybe I missed it. It was a busy week for me. But I really regret, AJ, that I wasn't able to attend this. My wife was very excited about that. And we had talked at one point about trying to get into the lottery for tickets and going to have a weekend in Auburn during the off week away from home. And that just didn't work out, thankfully so. But it was a cool, unique experience. And I continue to talk to people about Auburn is becoming this place without, but also alongside its sporting venues, its teams, just of entertainment. And this is another example of that, whether it's, the new contracts they signed to have Neville Arena and Jordan Hare have the concerts and events in them. But this is just another example of how great a time you can just have in the small little quaint town of Auburn, Alabama. Some great things to talk about in here as well. I think you're a little bit more informed about it. So I'm going to give you the floor for a little bit to talk what you want to take us where you want to go. What are some of the key things that from Auburn versus Savannah Bananas that you want to talk about?
So I want to start here. Banana ball is baseball, but it's got some weird, wacky, fun rules. They tried to remove a lot of the quote unquote boring parts of baseball, which I personally don't think. I played baseball up until I was 16. I don't think baseball is boring, but to some people watching baseball is boring. So they tried to make the viewing experience better. So have some weird rules around, like if the fan in the stands catches a pop fly, then that's considered an out, right? Weird things that like normal baseball doesn't have. There's also trick plays are very much encouraged. And it was really cool. There was a play in the outfield, and Auburn, I think it was our center fielder, caught it between his legs. How wild was that? Obviously, you don't do that in a normal baseball game. Now, the Savannah Bananas and like the banana ball, their tricks, I mean, they practice them day in and day out. So they had a lot more trick plays than Auburn, but that wasn't the point for Auburn. Auburn was just coming out there to have fun, play the banana ball rules. Another kind of really fun one that I think makes it interesting, there's no such thing as a walk. So, 4 balls and, the guy goes to first base. In banana ball, if you have 4 balls, all 9 players on the defense have to touch the ball. So you can hypothetically get a double or maybe even a triple out of a walk, which makes it that much more interesting. So it's a wild game, wild fun. I would highly encourage you to just go out social media and find some, highlights of this. I think the banana ball, like YouTube came out with like a 20-minute highlight video of this game, Auburn versus the banana ball kind of all-stars. Phenomenal. You get to watch some of their, different, like they do some like lip singing and just entertainment, like you're talking about, just pure entertainment, fun environment for everybody, fans, the players loved it. They got a bunch of different people interviewed about it. So a couple other just big highlights of people that you will know. Tim Hudson threw out the first pitch, and if you throw out the first pitch, in a normal like MLB or minor league or college, it doesn't count. Guess what? Banana ball, if you throw a strike,
you're part of the game.
That's a strike. It's so cool.
So wait. So if Tim Hudson gives up a hit, can he make a play on it?
Well, there's no batter, so he just has to throw it in the strike zone. I know. I
think as long as you sign a waiver, if they get hit with the head with this thing, that you should be able to play it out and try to get the out.
Go watch the highlights. An Auburn player line one back to Savannah Bananas or whoever was pitching, and like it almost beat him in the head, but he caught it. It was wild. So yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Huddy got to be back. That's cool when you can bring the celebrities of Auburn back into it.
Yeah. A couple other things. Auburn had 3 home runs in this game. One big surprise. Do you remember Sonny D?
I haven't been able to do that in years. I missed it. I missed it so much. Sonny D going yard, baby.
Yeah, and he's a student coach now back at
Yep.
Auburn. So he was our first base coach, and then mid-game, again, in the chaos of banana ball, gets to bat because he gets to, I forget what they call it. It's like an honorary kind of batter. So you get to pick a legend to come bat. And they decided, hey, we got Sonny D at first base. He can hit bombs, hits a bomb, and is one and only at bat. Of course, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So I love it.
I think the only thing that would match the modern Auburn like fan things that they love is the birds flying high. If I could be able to come back, you know, but if we can have Sonny D back, he's already there, like you said, back, and he knocks one out of the park, and we get to like that was just awesome. That is one of the things that makes me so, obviously, just as a fan, disappointed I wasn't able to be there to see that in person. That's cool.
Yeah. Couple other home runs, Lucas Steele. I mean, if you've watched any Auburn baseball, Lucas Steele hits bombs, and he did so in postseason last year a lot. He had a home run. It was amazing, and it went forever, it looked like. Another really cool one, and I don't know who he is, but he's a freshman. Mason McLean hit a 3-run homer. So
a little preview.
Be looking out for him.
A little preview.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
Now, look, it looked like one player out there other than Sonny was having the most fun, and it looked like one Bub Terrell. I mean, he's already becoming a fan favorite of the team, but it looked like he was getting full on into the little bananas of it all.
Oh my gosh, dude. So again, if you watch banana ball, you'll see like in between pitches, the walk-up songs, they may have like some lip singing or whatever. Like they hype it up a little bit more than your normal, just play the music through the speakers. So there's a dance associated with it in between innings or whatever it's going on. And Bub Terrell was a part of every single one of the ones that Auburn was a part of. And dude can dance. I love it. He was dancing, dude.
That was awesome to see. And just not Bub, but the entire team, everybody just seemed like they were getting into the aspect of it, which just adds to it. You know, you had an Auburn player, I believe, catching one under his legs, out in the outfield. I think that was awesome. The War Eagle made an appearance, not a full flight, but from the dugout, it seemed like. So, we had the banana ball side of things and then the Auburn side of things all colliding together into this awesomeness that is really great. And to be honest with you, the way I heard this talked about and built up, I thought this was going to be like I want to say this rudely, but their B squad. Like when they said the Banana All-Stars, I thought like, well, this is just the crew that, they're so busy. They got to go so many places. This is going to be some of their greats, but the head guy, the top banana was there. Like, I forget his name, but it was
everybody. Like the best of the best. Like I've watched some of their games just because they're on YouTube and I think it's fun. But they even had their dancing umpire who literally gets up there and twerks and like, come on, like that. I just had to throw that
family show. That's awesome.
He's a fun guy.
Well, and maybe as a final note here, it looked like they were doing some creative seating and viewing, utilizing what they took advantage of for playoffs. The College World Series games last year of as much as they could, all that they added for that. And then some, they dedicated, officially marked some of the parking deck space as viewing officially. I don't know what the makeup of all that was, paid or not. I hadn't had time really to look into that, but just to maybe transition this over as we wrap the topic up, you just wonder how this experience of Auburn versus banana ball, not that the game is going to change, you're still going to play collegiate baseball with those rules, but what effects of like the seating, the experience might be added to you, the Auburn fan, in your experience at an Auburn baseball game, and whether it's how they did the seating, how they did routes around, crowd control, things like that. So I think that's something that's always changing and growing, and something for fans to keep in mind, that you never know what they might try and attempt in the future. Any final thoughts on Auburn versus Savannah Banana?
I mean, I think it's a great way. I mean, I saw last year when Clemson did it against the Savannah Bananas and it went viral. I thought, how cool would it be for them to come to other colleges? And Auburn was on that next round of we're going to get chosen, which I think is so cool.
Yep.
Obviously, Auburn probably put its bid in and said, hey, we can bring the crowd, we can bring the environment, we can bring the fun of Savannah Bananas ball and just bring this into something that's really neat, especially for like the All-Stars. It's kind of like their end of year, like kind of, I don't know, like final loop around tour, whatever you want to call it. And Auburn showed up, and the fans, I think I saw Clint Richardson show up, and it sounds like they had a blast.
Oh man, that boy was going to show up. If he would have begged and pleaded at the gates, please let me in, please. Yeah. I probably would have begged with him, like, just please let this boy in. It's like the one thing he wants out there, you know, other than an alternate uniform. I don't know. It was awesome. I missed it. Hate those of you that weren't able to be there. Go watch the highlights. There's great things that they're even. I've got notifications coming through right now of moments they're still sharing from it. Auburn versus Savannah Bananas. Hopefully not the last time that we're getting to talk about something like this, even specifically this. It was a great time. It definitely looked like it. That's going to do it for episode 147 of the Auburn Experience podcast. As always, I want to remind you all to subscribe, follow if you haven't. We'd love to have you around for more often. If you want to contact me, you can do so on X if you'd like. I'm kind of there personally, but the E2C Network accounts everywhere. You can direct message us there. You can also hit us up at e2cnetwork@gmail.com if you ever want to talk about anything, offer suggestions, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. AJ, where can they find you?
You can find me on X at AJAY_.
Thank you so much for joining me, AJ, and filling in for one Austin Scott, who's off doing things. You know, couldn't be here for the day that I come back to the show, officially in the studio. We are back. But thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us tonight. And as I always remind you as we leave this show, that the Auburn Creed asks you to do these things: to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, that's the show, folks. Thank you so much for sticking around for it. I'm going to give a limited Q&A here at the end, given how late we started and stuff like that. But I will give almost did it. I went the whole recording without calling you Austin, and I almost did it right there.
I think the last Auburn Experience, I think you might have done it like 6 or 7 times, called me Austin. So
that's y'all's fault for having A's in your name. Final thoughts for you, sir.
Man, I just come back to Auburn fans, Auburn players, Auburn coaches they needed to win. And I feel like that just there was almost a little bit of like a pressure release after that. So happy for that big storyline. And it seems like we have a setup for next week against Kentucky. We have a good chance of winning. And if we win, I think the perception of the season still isn't going to be great, but if you look back, I still look at the 4 losses. There were 3 of the 4 were 1 possessions, losses, and a couple calls go your way. I think it changes. I think it changes a lot.
Little shout outs to you this evening for stepping up and enjoyed your commentary. So AJ, buddy, it's always good to talk to you whenever we get to hear you on Track Them Tigers and hang out with us here. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, apparently I saw another comment earlier. Apparently I look like Clint, but without his sunglasses. I don't know, something about that.
Well, maybe they're just playing off the whole Richardson thing. But yeah, that was probably WT. WT likes to try to make us all break in the middle of the show. So, all right, AJ, thanks for hanging out with us this evening, buddy.
All righty. Appreciate it.
See you, man. See you. All right, folks, you're going to spend just a little bit of time with me here. I'm going to give you a few reminders, and we'll get out of here and do some. So if you got any really quick questions, comments, I saved a couple. Just I might go through rapid fire, but there's something specific you'd like me to address, put it in the chat right now. All right, housekeeping stuff. I am back, as you can tell. Angles are a little bit off on the cameras and stuff because I had to throw things together tonight. I do believe that the majority of our content will go on as normal from henceforth. Now, what I am going to say to you all about this is we are still in the mid of a busy time here as a family, all for good things. And I continue to know that's frustrating that I can't really open up about those things right now, but one day we hope to be able to do that. But we continue to ask for your prayers for those of you that believe in the power of prayer and the power of our Savior, for his provision and full and complete completion of what we are going through right now. All good things. But with that being said, I think we're back on our normal schedule. I don't have cue cards ready for you all this evening, but what we are anticipating is obviously your next scheduled show is going to be the Auburn Family Night Show, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. I have to get back to my times correctly here. 9 Eastern, 8 Central. That is our live call-in show. Thursday night, preview and prediction show for Auburn versus Kentucky. We will do a bunch of stuff from campus this weekend. Shouldn't be any reason I can't be there for you all this weekend. We're planning on that. It will be right after Halloween night. I guess I could have my fun trick-or-treating or anything like that. But we plan to be on campus for you guys all day Sunday. May not be there Friday as much, but we'll see. So hope you guys are excited for that post-game show from the mobile broadcast studio, aka my car, on Saturday. And whatever else we get into on the weekend. Plenty of content. We're probably going to have that what do you call it? The simulation from College Football 26 this week. We missed last week. Apologies for that. But the point is, we back, baby. I'm back, and I'm excited to be with you guys again. Normal as in normal, as normal as it can be right now. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's see here. A couple of comments coming here. Cutting to the chase, LSU firing Brian Kelly makes Hugh's seat hotter, cooler, or no impact at all. I think for those that want it to be hotter, it will be hotter. For those that want it to be cooler, it will be cooler. And for those that know, I know feels like a cop-out answer, but I think everybody at this point has made up their mind on what they want, and we'll see what they want into every situation that they can somehow correlate to Hugh. I think the biggest impact on Hugh and his time here is on what he does, not what others do. And certainly, and I'm not ignoring that could also play in it. There certainly do seem to be a lot of firings happening. Wonder what's going on. I don't know. But thank you all for your prayers. I certainly appreciate all the kind words, things like that. We're just, trying to, get through a busy season that hopefully we can share more with you guys about later. Says Kyle, all you got to do is dress up as an Auburn fan for trick or treat. No, see, what I do is go put out is it like the blackout stuff on your teeth or whatever it is, or just put a raisin there or something, and then I throw on my worst looking shirt with some kind of really indescript saying on it, something about no excuses, but I make a lot of excuses while wearing that, and then I say this really, really weird phrase that's like starts with R and a T, and then somehow everybody knows what I am in that one. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird like that. All right, a couple of things here to round up the show. How many times this is from Corey, how many times does the transfer portal open up for basketball? I'm not sure of that, Corey. I'll try to remember to look that up for you. Hunter sharing a little bit of sweet story. My little girl learned to say War Eagle hey about a month ago. Crazy how little things like that are so meaningful. Amen, brother. Love to hear that. Can you rank Auburn sports programs from 1 to 5? I mean, the top 5 right now, if we're talking about recency, men's basketball, probably right behind that would be baseball. Right behind that would be men's golf. Right behind that would probably be equestrian. And right behind that would be, oh, wait a minute. No, men's track and field would be in that list too. So that's probably your top 5 as they currently stand right now based on returns thus far. WT thinks I can't come up. I don't know what this was in reference to, but I saved it. My nickname for the Big Hurt. And then Micah said, I wonder how hard it was for Auburn to get out of their normal habits and play the banana ball rules. It looked like it was pretty easy for them, Micah. Like they looked like they were having a fun time. This is all right. Following up on some of your earlier comments, and just to really quick going here, I think with the NIL fans, boosters' voices are magnified even more than before. And certainly with that, I think that's my point. That is what's magnified, not necessarily the impact on Hugh and what he can do for himself in this regard. Kyle, if you go as I keep wanting to say Under Armour Alabama fan, your wife will have to wear a shirt that says she's your sister. That's a great one. That's one that would have really put the ensemble together. Bama fans only get to trick or treat in the trailer parks. Listen, Micah, you brought it on yourself, buddy. You brought it on yourself. Love you, man. All right. Thank y'all so much for being here and participating tonight. We really appreciate you. Happy to be back here in the E2C Network headquarters. Until I get to talk to you again, I'll do it one more time for y'all. The Auburn Creed asks you to do these things, to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.